What's up, guys? Excalibur here. This is take 2. I wanted to go stop the recording on my last one and realized I didn't hit record. So, take 2. If you guys could hit that like button. If you guys aren't subscribed, please subscribe. Starting hopefully in March, mid-March, end of March, I will be live trading futures every single day, having my ES chart up full time during the market hours with, live ES analysis on there. I got my kids in the background, so you might hear some toys, crazy stuff. But first off, Apex, you got 80% off for the next day in 4 hours. Definitely take advantage of these 80% off, because I don't buy when it's 50% off. I just wait for those 80% offs. You can buy 3 for 1 when it's 80 compared to 50. So I just kind of load up, let them sit, do them slowly. But definitely, if you want to take that leap into futures, my affiliate code is in the bottom bio. Save 80 is the code. Can you turn it off, please? And I appreciate you guys. My 5-year-old is playing with a kid toy. So let's go ahead and start on what happened today. Going into the day, we had a pretty solid slow creep up. Something you want to always go into every morning and be like, are we above yesterday's prices or Friday's prices? Or are we below? Are we going to find, if we're above yesterday's prices, are we going to find new buyers to push up even higher? If not, we're just going to fall into the price range of yesterday. So, with the solid, sell-off, we actually came back half back of yesterday's price, and they found buyers down here at the lows. Pretty solid European session push up into overnight highs, obviously overnight highs. Kind of a sell-off going into morning. Usually happens. It seems like we sell off or push in the open and we go the opposite direction. We can tell pretty solid, Friday. We kept testing this 4,100 level. So, anything I want to see a break and retest of it is happening today. Beautiful break and retest. Put up here, it's yours. Beautiful break and retest continuation up. Pretty good risk reward if you got that retest of 4,100. Keep your stop loss below this low 40.96. Definitely missed it. I don't like getting plays super early because I feel like we just go whichever direction. I don't know how people predict, but I was biased. I was like, okay, we accepted prices higher than yesterday's highs right here. We are above RTH open, so we're above the opening print. And also, I just thought we'd push into Europe close. I thought Europe had a great session, and let's see if when we opened, if we're going to continue up. So, my first play I saw kind of on Bookmap was this huge seller just sitting at kind of this 41.30. I wish I could pop it up, but I don't have it open right now. Kind of just huge seller 41.30. If you zoom in, we kind of right here, we kind of 1, 2, kind of on a lower time frame. You can see it came up here. They rejected, sold it off. We didn't really sell it off strong, so it's not really a super strong seller. Just one that I didn't like. But we came up here, half of them were filled. They came back in, and eventually we broke through, and we just took off. You can tell rounded here, continue up, rounded here, continue up. I got in at 41.27, and I was like, let's just keep our stop loss 41.25. Where our previous breakout was 2-point risk, and we got 10 points on that. So pretty solid risk reward. I really should have stayed into play, something I'm working on. Of course, everyone, if you feel like you should hold, if you hold your longers as long as you hold your losers, you definitely print a lot more. Someone said to me once. So getting into this, you just take your, that's thick, go to normal. And kind of just take your swing lows, something I'm working on. If you break your swing low, get out of it. I had one runner, so probably right here is where I would have got out of it originally, 42, but I kind of got out at 33. So I could have got 12 more points when I'm risking 2 points. Definitely would have been a really, really, really nice play. But these sell-offs were a little drastic. I thought it would be a range day, but also, initial balance. Tell everyone, learn what initial balance is. Your first hour. What are we doing on our first hour of the market open? Basically, almost straight up. So if we're able to hold this initial balance at 41.30, we should continue up. Look at us. Came back, test 1, pushed up, came back, test 2. I actually missed this one because I had my initial balance down here for some reason. So this, if I would have had that on the correct area, I could have caught another 20 points. But like I say, if your initial balance, if you're accepting price above initial balance, you should have a trend day up. If we broke down, what I'm looking for is kind of a breakdown, retest, and back to the middle, back to the mean reversion. But we stayed above, pretty solid move up. Yes, a lot of people said they didn't like the price action of yesterday. I kind of felt like it was just simple. Not saying I'm a genius at all. Just, if you kind of zoom out, go higher time frame, look at your outside bars. Right here was a good spot. We had a hammer. This was actually really interesting. We had a hammer here on the outside bar. You kind of take the continuation up of that outside bar. Could have been nice, just like this. Inside, outside, down. But that's a whole nother lesson for a whole nother day. But pretty solid move, going into tomorrow, just kind of watching. Are we going to break out? Or are we going to come back down? So, my downside target for sellers was that FOMC POC, and we hit that. So kind of my downside targets already hit. SPY gave my dark pool levels today. Just looking at SPY, look at this previous month high. So last month was an inside month, and we're able to hold this previous month high. Nice, kind of higher time frame, so it looks a little better. We had 1 bounce, 2 bounce, we broke below, and then we started testing it as a resistance. Are we going to reject it? Or are we going to break above, test it, continue up? And beautiful test that open of that. Also, 410, huge level, breakout, retest, continuation up. Dark pool levels, we kind of chopped through them. These dark pool levels, when you see them kind of clustered, we're going to chop through those. When we don't have dark pool levels, they call them ghost zones. We kind of go fast through them. Of course, we ran out of time in CPS tomorrow. This dark pool level, we always go fast through this dark pool level where there's none, or where there's no dark pool levels. So kind of what I'm watching on QQ. The only one I'm watching on QQ is this kind of, I keep saying kind of a lot, not 293.05. There's a 131. We had 1.2 billion. It was a live print too, and that was the one that they also sold puts against. So kind of as their backup insurance case, the market dumped. Overall, pretty solid. For me, pretty solid day. But we're kind of looking bullish. CPI. I want the market to dump, so that's why I'm kind of holding calls in tomorrow. Kind of do it inverse Excalibur. But our first play was Microsoft. This past Friday, I took Microsoft 0 DTE. I got destroyed. We got 265s. So if I actually got the 265s of next week, I would have gotten 200, 300% on this play. Of course, when you go 0 DT, kind of looking for that quick win, gambling, whatever. But what I was watching was this 263 area where we hold support, we were resistance. We did break above, and we did retest it. So I thought we would continue up. The market just overall was pretty weak, but Microsoft stayed strong. So today, we're over last week's POC, definitely showing bullish signs. So Microsoft, I took over this 270 level. If we had to break and retest at 270, if we kind of look at 270 on the 1 hour, So where are we at? Nothing over here, but we have to go back. Resistance here, resistance there, broke below, kind of held as a resistance, Those are supports before, resistance there. So that's kind of where we sold off really strong in September. And then we finally made our way back to that 270. And we broke out. We had some fake breakouts. You can tell on 270. Something's happening there. There's a bounce there, broke below, kind of bounces there, broke below, tested it. So 270 is a huge level. Wait for that breakout, retest all the way up to kind of a 1, 2, 3 tough spot up here on Microsoft, and that's where I took my profit. Apple, just overall, Apple makes its move, consolidates, makes its move, consolidates. And I saw this flag went a week out because Apple is just cheap. You could always go a week out. If you look at this kind of in the lower time frame, if you have the right trend line, beautiful breakout, double bounce off of it. Last week POC, strong push up. Microsoft and Apple are strong in the market compared to a lot of tickers. And we basically hit that daily high on right here, daily high on Thursday. AMD went farther out on here. If we're looking at the daily on AMD, we've broken this downtrend, but we're just consolidating right now. So, they had a nice strong push to break. Sellers can't get it back into this downtrend. So I've seen different stocks where they do this, they'll break out, consolidate, and then continue up. So that's what I kind of took on AMD. I went 0 day on this one. I would have made actually pretty good money, but I went kind of far out because I didn't want to hold a bunch of calls going into tomorrow. But overall, 83 breakout retest could have been the spot to get in support here. Amazon really didn't do anything. It was very strong today, but in kind of in no man's land. I'm watching 100 going into tomorrow. Google is very interesting to me. Definitely keep this on watch. If you pull up your weekly POC, it's this one with that huge sell-off on that Bing Chat GPT thing. Interesting that our weekly POC ended up here. You think people start unloading here, so it seems like they're kind of accumulating here, or possibly could be distributing and for another huge leg down. But I feel like the sell-off was kind of unwarranted, kind of a big sell-off just because he gave a bad answer. Doesn't really affect Google as a whole company. So definitely, if CPI is strong, I'm gonna look at Google kind of to continue pushing. Let's see our swing low to swing high. Put that Z50 on, and we're below our golden zone where we want to bounce. We hit it here. Let's see that 0.786. No, I don't want background. Or then the 0.65 is another. Bet we're holding that. 0.65. So we're kind of holding on right there, that main fib. So definitely keep that on watch. Very, very interesting. Meta had that news, but didn't really push on, they're supposed to have more layoffs than expected. The only thing I really saw was at 179, kind of false breakout here, finally broke above, tested at 1, 2, 3, downtrend break. Nice little push up from 179 to 181, $2 move. That's all you really need. NVIDIA, really, really strong move off that 208, but I'm kind of seeing a head and shoulders a little bit here. There's your shoulder, there's your head. And let's see If it doesn't break 230, possibly continuation down. But that's against my bias on AMD because I want AMD to push. Then Tesla just could not push past last week's POC right here at 195.23. Definitely watching 196 again to possibly push it to 200 or the breakdown of 190. But that's going to be it for me, guys. Definitely appreciate you guys. Hit that like button, subscribe. I'm trying to do this. I'm probably going to have one of these videos every single day. A lot of you guys are when my wife's off, so she can watch the kids and they're not in here running around. But, hopefully come March, we'll be live trading every day. I'll be alongside you guys live